Hello everyone. Today I'm going to present about the impact of reducing dietary crude protein level on male turkey performance. As we all know, protein is an essential building block, but excess protein in the gut that passes to lower intestine undigested can be detrimental to animal health, and that excess nitrogen excreted through the hindgut is detrimental for litter condition and environment as well. In the past, minimum crude protein has been measured or set during formulation to make sure that it meets the minimum essential amino acid requirements. As we evolve through understanding of the limiting amino acids, nutritionists have started to formulate diets based on limiting amino acid ratios, which eliminated the crude protein dependence and it allowed nutritionists to look options to reduce crude protein. As the first and second limiting amino acid were available in feed grade form, the maximum constraint was used in the formulation with feed grade lysine, and that limited the amount of feed grade amino acid entering the feed formulation. And it was done to prevent the deficiency of other lower limiting amino acid, which where the minimums were unknown. But as the studies were done and those minimum requirements were published and understood, the maximum constraint was removed. Now, with the knowledge of minimum amino acid requirement and adoption of and availability of synthetic amino acid in cost feasible form, it allows the nutritionist to look further to lower crude protein in the animal diet while maintaining and meeting all the amino acid requirement. The reduction of crude protein and use of synthetic amino acid has been important in terms of cost saving, but that is not the only advantage. There is a higher advantage on the health and welfare of the birds. The excess protein that is not digested goes to the lower intestine and it is detrimental for the environmental health and welfare of the birds. It has been published that by reducing 1% crude protein, we can reduce 10% of nitrogen excretion, and it also reduces 3% water uses, which can help to reduce the litter moisture. Using the next limiting amino acid in terms of feed grade form or synthetic form can improve the digestibility coefficient of all other amino acid as well. And it can also benefit the pellet quality as well as availability of those synthetic amino acid allows the targeted amino acid increase to capitalize on some of the performance benefit for nutritionists. But looking at the turkey side, the turkey spends a longer time in the barn than broiler does. And it starts with really high protein, starts about say 27, 29% in pre-starter diet, and it finishes about 17% in the withdrawal diet. We still have minimum crude protein or maximum lysine restriction that forces the use of higher percentage of protein contributing macro ingredient in some of the turkey formulations. And from those macro ingredients like soybean meal or canola, they are highly nutritious in terms of providing the amino acid required for the birds, but they also contain the anti-nutritional factors and those excess undigested protein that can pass to the lower gut and cause gut health issues. It can cause food pad and litter quality issues as well. However, there is very limited research in Turkey to help the Turkey nutritionists to make decisions on determining the minimum requirement of the lower limiting amino acid, as well as the studies done to look at the lower crude protein, use of synthetic amino acid, and reduced crude protein on the performance of the birds and welfare of the birds. The objective of this study was to look at the effect of reducing dietary crude protein while maintaining minimum essential amino acid ratios to lysine with the addition of non-bound amino acid, either threonine, valine, isoleucine, arginine, and tryptophan in heavy turkey toms. For the study, we used commercially hatched hybrid toms, 133 days of age. We used a completely randomized design with 4 treatments, 32 floor pens, 8 replicates, 85 birds per pen, kept at 3.5 square feet per bird. And the 4 treatments that we had are control, 3% reduction, 6% reduction, and 9% reduction of crude protein compared to the control. Diet and water was fed L-limitum. NAA program was used for the birds with 8 dietary phases, and diet was formulated to meet or exceed the hybrid recommended digestible lysine and amino acid requirement. Feed intake, body weight gain, and feed conversion ratio was measured at 42, 84, and 133 days of age. One way ANOVA was conducted and two-key test was run to look at the mean separation, and statistical significance was determined at p-value less than 0.05. Looking at the diet here, the ME started at about 1400 and ended about 1600. The control CP and pre-starter diet was 27.5%, and withdrawal diet was 17%, and digestible lysine was about 1.65 in pre-starter and 0.96 in the withdrawal diet. Looking at pre-starter diet here, the protein started at 27.5%. And ended at about 25.4%, which is about 2.5% absolute reduction. We used wheat middlings in treatment 2, 3, and 4 to bring in the calorie, but we made vegetable oil the same to make sure that vegetable oil was not the confounding factor. And in treatment 2, 3, and 4, the soybean meal decreased compared to treatment 1, and we brought in feed grade evaluable non-bound amino acid to balance the limiting amino acid ratios. Similarly, in withdrawal diet, the difference between treatment 1 and treatment 4 is about 1.5%. However, the ratio that 3%, 6%, and 9% is still the same. And then we kept the vegetable oil the constant, the ME constant. And then looking at soybean meal, the soybean meal decreased as we went from treatment 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we brought in synthetic amino acid to balance the minimum amino acid requirement. Looking at results here, in the x-axis, you will see the days of measurement. In the y-axis, you'll see the variables. The blue bar will be control. The orange bar will be 3% reduction. The gray bar will be 6% reduction. And yellow bar will be 9% reduction. There was no statistical difference between day 1 to 42. Looking at body weight gain from 42 to 84 days of age, the birds that were fed 9% reduction in crude protein compared to control had the best body weight gain compared to the first treatment. And then looking at day 84 to 133, there was no negative or positive response in treatment 2, 3, or 4 compared to treatment 1. The body weight on day 42 there was no significant difference between treatment 1 and treatment 2, 3, and 4. On day 84, we saw a higher body weight gain, about 0.4 pound higher or heavier body weight on treatment 4, which was 9% reduction compared to the control treatment. At day 133, we did not see any statistical difference between treatment 1, 2, 3, and 4. However, if you look at treatment 4, there was about 0.7 pound heavier bird compared to first treatment, and in day 84 it was about 0.4 pounds. So the trend was obviously increasing, but we did not see a statistical response. Looking at feed conversion ratio on day 1 to 42, there was no negative or positive impact of reducing crude protein in terms of feed conversion ratio compared to treatment 1. Similarly, in day 1 to 84 or day 1 to 133, we did not see a negative response or a positive response of crude protein reduction compared to treatment 1, which kind of tells us that we could reduce the crude protein and balance the amino acid ratios and still have the performance. Looking at the past paper, a paper published in 2000 from University of Minnesota, they used a corn, soybean meal, canola-based diet, and they looked at the amino acid response on 100%, 92.5, 85, and 77.5% of NRC in large white male turkey polls. And the results showed that 92.5% of NRC crude protein supported maximum body weight gain, which is almost in line with what our finding was, where we had 91% of the control had the maximum body weight. Now, 77.5% of NRC had depressed the body weight gain and breast meat yield, but as they brought in supplemental amino acid like threonine, isoleucine, valine, arginine, and tryptophan, it returned the body weight gain and partially returned the breast meat yield. There has also been published paper that by reducing the crude protein, we could reduce the litter moisture as early as 4 weeks. And it also decreases the foot pad dermatitis from 4 weeks to 20 weeks of term. Looking from the swine side, there has been published paper that you could reduce 2 to 4% of the crude protein from NRC in 1998 and get a better nitrogen utilization, reduce feed cost, reduce nitrogen excretion, and promote gut health without impairing the food growth performance of the pigs. Moreover, if you look at 2012, there is no requirement for crude protein, and they replaced that with total nitrogen requirement. And if you look at that total nitrogen requirement in 2012 and multiply that by 6.25, that crude protein requirement is about 2 to 4% lower than what was in 1998. So swine industry is moving way ahead of us already. So to summarize, we have seen an increment in body weight gain between day 42 to 84 days of age, which is that 6 to 12 week of age. And that could be because we reduced the soybean meal, maybe impact on litter quality as well as gut health of the birds. We did not see any impact on feed conversion ratio or weight mortality adjusted feed conversion ratio for the duration of the trial, while reducing crude protein and maintaining the limiting amino acid ratios. And there were some other benefits of lower crude protein. It reduced the nitrogen excretion. It had benefit in litter quality. The crude protein level and soybean meal kind of correlated to the litter moisture, and there was potential for improvement in health and welfare. Thank you.